Hi, I'm Chris Johnston from Work Visa Lawyers, and welcome to our immigration law updates for the month. Thank you so much for all your likes and follows. We're nearly at 20,000 followers. We really value your feedback, and we're making a separate video to answer the most common question that we're hearing. When will the Australian borders open? Today I'll be talking about the Australian federal budget and immigration, international students, general skilled migration, the 189, the 190 and the 491, family visas, business and investment visas, and the global talent visa. The Australian government has released its budget for the new financial year, and sadly, it is predicted the Australian borders may be closed until mid-2022. Planning levels are to remain the same as 2021, with an upper limit of 160,000 places, but the focus will be more on processing onshore applicants and clearing backlogs. Holders of the temporary 408 visa will no longer be required to leave Australia when their visa expires if they agree to undertake agricultural work in regional locations. This is because of severe shortages of labour in rural areas, but we have concerns this may effectively force people into inappropriate positions. If you are granted permanent residency after the 1st of January 2022, you will now have to wait 4 years before accessing government welfare payments like unemployment and sickness allowance. In some good news, if awaiting a matter in the Administrative Appeals Tribunal, the budget has allocated $58 million to clearing the backlog of unheard matters. There are currently over 57,000 migration appeals waiting to be heard, and we hope that the funding boost will get things moving smoothly again. In a disappointing move by the federal government, the return of international students has been overlooked in the federal budget. Universities are growing desperate as enrolments continue to fall, with 210,000 fewer than expected international students signing up this year. Concessions in place for COVID will allow international students to obtain graduate visas in Australia, even if completing their courses offshore. But we realise this doesn't make the wait any easier. The states and universities are desperate for international students to return, and there have been multiple plans submitted to the federal government. These numbers would be in addition to the current flight caps, and it would be a user-paid system. For those who are already here, there is some good news. The caps on working hours has been lifted for certain industries. If you hold a student visa, you can now work unlimited hours in hospitality, tourism, or agriculture. Just make sure you continue to meet the requirements for your course. We've recently released a video talking about when we think Australia's borders might open. Click here if you'd like to add it to your playlist. The April rounds for the 189, 190 and 491 visas were positive, with increases in the allocations in multiple categories. And we've just received news today that the department is making room for more general skilled visas in this coming year. While the federal government has a preference for onshore applicants, some states are accepting offshore applications for professions on the Priority Migration Skilled Occupation List, or the PMSOL. At the time of recording the video, the occupations on the list are Chief Executive or Managing Director, Construction Project Manager, Mechanical Engineer, Vet, Medical Practitioner, Psychiatrist, Midwife, Registered Nurse, Developer Programmer, Software Engineer, Social Worker, Maintenance Planner. We also saw an increase in allocations last month for South Australia and Tasmania. Both states increased their 491 places, and South Australia increased its 190 places by 33%. Employer-sponsored migration and regional visas will be increasing this year too, as the government pushes to find more skilled labour. In the April rounds, 160 491 visas were granted, a slight drop from January's 163. But 189 visas are rocketing up, with 500 invitations being issued in April, up from 200 in January, a huge increase. The trend in 2020 of numbers getting lower seems to have reversed, and we hope to see this to continue in the next quarterly round. Partner visa allocations increased by 80% in 2021 and are now highest allocation of visas in Australia. The government has maintained this number for 2022, but says it will be focusing its efforts on onshore applicants. We are very disappointed to hear the government's decision not to increase family visas. We know how many people are being kept away from their loved ones right now. We are hopeful the Department of Home Affairs will use this time to clear the backlog of partner visas they currently have on hand. In business news, as of the 1st of July, the 132 visa and the 188 Premium Investor visa will no longer exist, and the Business Innovation visa will have higher assets and turnover requirements. The 188 Investor and Significant Investor visas will now have different levels of complying investments, with 10% more going into venture capital and balancing investments. There will be fewer Business Innovation visas this year, with allocations dropping from 13,500 to 11,000. The good news is, holders of the 188 visa will no longer have to wait for 4 years to apply for permanent residency. The new structure now allows for visa holders to apply for permanent residency after only 3 years. The Department of Home Affairs has made these changes in an attempt to streamline the process and make it easier for individuals to invest in Australia. The Australian Tax Department too has made changes, planning to replace the existing framework with a new set of rules that are easy to understand and apply. Investing is one of the fastest and easiest ways to get permanent residency status in Australia, and we expect the program to continue in popularity. And lastly, the global talent visa stream continues in popularity, but the department has reduced the places this year from 15 to 11,000 to allow for more general skilled migration. We've noticed a surge in invitations in the last 2 months. It seems like the Australian government is pushing to try and fill this year's ceiling of 15,000 while they still have the opportunity. Thank you for watching. We hope you found this video useful. Please subscribe to our channel and follow us on our social media for all the latest immigration news. And if you need help, make an appointment to meet with one of our team today.